The Market Musings podcast with Fairbairn and Russell. Welcome to the Market Musings, where today we go to Tallinn, Estonia, and we're going to be talking all things shiny and silver as we talk to silver bullion dealer Stephen Tonev, who is the head of sales at Europa Bullion. Hi, Stephen. How are you?
Hi, guys. Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Yes, very well. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for joining us. And, of course, your favourite fan, Kenny, who is sitting at home surrounded by shiny silver, is joining us as well.
Yeah. Hi, Stephen. How are things?
Everything's good. Kenny, how are you?
Yeah, very well. Yeah, I've been trying to get you on the podcast for some time. Obviously, but the silver squeeze things that's happened in the last 10 days just kind of made it more poignant for you to come on. So no, it's great to have you on. Obviously, myself and Mark are big silver fans, and I do confess to buying some silver in the past from Europa Bullion, but obviously our government and their wisdom in the Brexit situation has made it a bit more trickier now. But no, it was good that I managed to buy a good load before the VAT-free thing disappeared with Brexit. But yeah, it must have been a hectic sort of 10, 12 days for you with everything that's going on in the world to do with silver at the moment.
Oh, yeah. First of all, it's my pleasure, and thank you for the invitation.
No problem.
It's been a crazy week, honestly, starting from last Friday, the 29th. Demand rose very sharply, especially during the weekend, and especially on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. We sold over 600 kilos of silver coins and bars combined. People were buying all the loads of silver, it started to get scary during the Sunday because obviously when you're a dealer, when you sell, you have to buy from the wholesaler. So you saw probably some of the big US dealers like JM Bullion and Upmex, they just stopped selling silver, or the others started rising their premiums sharply, simply because the market is not open. And until it opens, you have to make sure you'll be able to repurchase what you sold. Now, the situation with the wholesalers was not good for the first 3 days of this week. I was honestly a little bit scared when I tried to order a monster box of Canadian maple leaves. We sometimes buy 6-7 monster boxes. For your listeners, a monster box contains 500 ounces. And they only had 100. At the moment, the Vienna Philharmonic, which comes from the Austrian Mint, is not available for sale, and it will not be available for the next 3 weeks. We managed to buy some during the weekend. We placed an order, so they honored that order, and we have it in stock. But there's a little bit of, it will take some time for the wholesalers to match this new demand and to be able to supply back the products that we dealers sold during these 10 days.
Yeah. And is this demand from existing customers, Stephen, or new customers? I mean, what's the kind of spread?
I would say that 85% was the demand from new customers, people who never bought from us before. And one thing, and I don't want it to sound like I'm advertising ourselves or anything, but just many of the dealers, the small dealers across Europe, they're just websites, and they sell and then they buy what they sold. So now they have a problem, and I've heard problems like that. I'm not going to mention names, but the good thing with us is that we always keep 40,000 ounces of silver and 10 kilos of gold in stock. So we managed to deliver all the silver that we sold, with a few exceptions, which are traveling with UPS standard. And of course, this is a ground transportation, so it will take some time for that to deliver. But going back to your question, there's I would say 85, even maybe more, but I need to see the numbers closely and and reflect, which is not possible at the moment just because we are so busy. But I would say 85, probably 90% new buying.
Yeah.
At least there's a number of orders. Now, we have existing customers and they tend to do larger orders because it's a trust issue. When you make your first order, you want to check whether it's a good dealer or not. And as a number of orders, over 85% new.
Yeah. I mean, just before we come on the podcast this morning, I jumped on to, I don't think I'll name them, but one of the biggest bullion dealers in the UK, just to see what their prices were for delivery. So this is coins in stock. So a 2020 Britannia, which is probably one of the most popular coins in the world, is £48.36 delivered. That's a 1 ounce coin. Which is it's almost 100%. In fact, it probably is more than 100% premium to the spot price at the moment.
Yes, if you include the VAT, it's over 100%.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, the disconnect between the spot price and the physical price has never ever been as high as that. I mean, from memory, I think it's maybe like 10-12%. I don't know if you've got any information on that, Stephen, but to be over 100% premium is just, it's crazy. Yeah. It's great if you've got a lot of ounces like myself and Mark. I mean, we're treating that as an investment as well. But
long-term investment, I think, for me anyway. But those premiums, you see, is that just dealers taking advantage? Because we saw a similar thing back in the sort of mini or whatever crash you want to call it back in May when COVID hit. But everyone went to gold, and you saw a lot of gold bullion dealers were putting their premiums up, and there was some coming out saying, we're not going to do that. We're not going to rip you off. So is it possibly just dealers taking advantage? I mean, obviously there is a shortage, but I think there's also a bit of advantage, taking advantage of the situation going on as well.
Okay, so I would say it's a little bit of both worlds. Now let me explain. First, as I told you, when we sell, we're always striving to buy back what we sold. That's how dealerships work. If you just sell, soon you're going to have a pile of money and you're no longer a dealer. Now, the price. There are two factors which should be taken into account. First is premiums with the wholesalers. Now, those rose indeed with 5, 6 to 10% depending on different products. So this is not 100%. It's a little bit less than that. A lot, actually. Now, the second thing that needs to be taken into account is the availability of certain products. So, for example, if you can't buy from the wholesalers you're dealing with, and there are shortages of small retail physical products of silver at the moment. So if you cannot purchase it, you tend to raise your premiums just to make it a little bit harder for the buyers for the time being, so that you can keep in stock. That's what we do. Actually, we rose premiums on Wednesday for a while, and I would say our premiums are now 5-6% above what they used to be 10 days ago. So we're not talking 100. That's why I told you it's a little bit of both worlds. You have to raise premiums in situations like that, just because you have to be sure that you are going to be able to supply the products that you sold from the wholesaler. Now we have this another advantage. We have a new product coming. It's going to be a coin bar produced for our company, and it's going to be selling VAT free because it will have face value. Can't tell you more at the moment, but it's coming mid-March. So now we are buying a lot of grain that is going for the production of our new product, which is going to be 1,000. The mintage will be 1,000 as a start, and then we'll mint some more. So I'm telling you this because I wanted to go to the grain market now. On the grain side, we have just 1% rise in the premium of the grain over the spot price. So I would say it's mostly a shortage of the small retail silver products, which will take around 1 month. That's my estimation for the mint to start producing. And the wholesaler will be back in stock in their normal quantities or higher quantities, because now the demand is higher. So it will take some time, and I expect premiums to go down.
Okay, so you're saying that the grain price is only 1% up. What's your opinion on the short squeeze then? Is there a short, or is it just a rush to the consumer coins?
I would say the latter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think this obviously the silver squeeze $1,000 an ounce is pie in the sky? I probably think it is myself. I mean, $1,000 an ounce for silver just seems seems ridiculous. I mean, $50 to $100 might be feasible in my opinion. If it goes to $1,000, I'll be delighted. But I just can't see it.
Well, I would say it's a pure fantasy, but again, I'm very, very bullish on silver over the long term, and I think that this silver squeeze attracted many people who had nothing to do with silver, who didn't do their research. I'm very conservative with my investments. Actually, when we started the company, silver was trading around $13-14 an ounce, so we pretty much picked up the low. We don't hedge, which shows you that we are investors and dealers at the same time. So we never hedged any of our sales. So we just rode silver from 13, 14, 15, $16 upwards. So we just sell and buy back what we sold. That's how it works. So I'm bullish, I'm optimistic. I wouldn't name a price, where it's going to. It will rise sharply in the next 3 to 5 years. That I can tell you, from our research. And I want to distance myself a little bit from the silver conspiracy theorists, who've been preaching the same thing since 2007, 2008. I've seen silver go down from $49 all the way down to $12. This is in the past decade. So it is a very good buy. It is historically underpriced, and and obviously around 10-15% of the demand for silver is for investment purposes. And I would direct anyone who is serious about long-term investing in precious metals to CPM Group. CPM Group is an advisory on precious metals that's been running from New York for 36 years now. Now they are, I'm not connected in any way. I'm just telling you what research I'm reading. So they've been making price predictions and forecasts and supply and demand research for 36 years. As I said, they published the CPM Gold and CPM Silver yearbooks. And the guy who's running the operation is Jeffrey Christian, and Jeffrey was on YouTube in 2011 when silver was $49. He was saying that the price is going to crash. Now everybody was very bullish at that time, and he got a lot of thumbs down for that. But it's on record and it's there, and they're doing deep analysis, very good research. You'll see the supply, you'll see the demand side. For example, supply really went down in 2020 due to some mines having some issues with COVID and stuff like that. But this is the place where I get my analysis, and it has a proven track record, for years and years. So what they're saying is that they're expecting sharply higher prices in the next 3 to 5 years. By sharply higher will be anything more than 300% of today's price. So Kenny, what you said about somewhere between 50 and 100, yes, we will see silver above 50 and probably close to $100 in the not so distant future. But all those $1,000 an ounce predictions are just fantasies. I can't imagine what the amount of money needs to be printed and if silver is 1,000, it will not buy what $1,000 will buy today.
Yeah, it was interesting what you said about supply and demand as well, because obviously there's been a new, in the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of demand, from individuals buying silver. But obviously, I seen this thing in YouTube last night, and the Chinese are actually installing every single hour solar panels the size of a football pitch. So every hour in China, there's a football pitch of solar panels getting installed, and that's every day, which is just a crazy amount of solar panels. And you think, how much silver is going into that? And that's just China. So the industrial demand going forward, especially with the new President Biden's green energy plan for America alone. I mean,
the new Green Deal, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of these tech companies must be, even the mobile phone. I mean, there's a bit of silver in your mobile phones and a lot of electronic devices as well. They must be looking and saying, we really need to start stockpiling it. A bit like what Tesla's been doing as well. They're physically going out and talking to some of the miners and, talking about buying their own mines and things like that. So, yeah, it's a crazy world, and
Kenny, this is the real reason why silver prices are going up, because there's a real demand for silver, not just some people who are coming from a chat room who never heard of silver before, and now they're rushing to buy physical, disturbing a little bit the market and the premiums and everything. So this is a short-term squeeze. Now the good squeeze, or let's call it the good movement in price that we investors are looking forward to. It's going to come just because of this increased industrial demand, and of course, demand for 2012, investment demand in 2020 was the highest in a decade. So this will continue in 2021, but I call this real demand. These are people who are buying every month, or dollar cost averaging, who know why they're buying it, and these are the strong hands, because the way I put it is the bull is going to try to get you off his back, with this. So if you cannot hold your cards until the end, you will probably buy high and sell low, and we all know that that's not the way to make money. So I would if I were an investor, I would wait for price dips. Obviously, we have one now at the moment. Lower premiums, which will take some time, 2-3 weeks, and investing for the long term, really.
And what is long term then, Stephen, in your opinion?
Sorry, excuse me. Can you repeat the question?
You say long term. What is long term in your opinion?
In my opinion, long term is the whole decade. I expect the bull market to continue throughout this decade.
Okay.
So we're just in the beginning stages.
Just in the beginning stages. Okay, so of the decade. So then I'm just thinking, if someone wants, let's take me for example, who's putting some wealth into silver, into precious metals, I might keep this, for multiple decades. I might keep it until I, retire, for example, as a store of wealth. Is it worth doing that, or is it worth trying to take advantage of the cyclical nature of the market, do you think?
Well, I'll tell you from my personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter was born in 2014. Mm-hmm. So obviously I've been precious metals bull for some time. So she was born in 2014. And I'm buying a coin here, a coin there, Christmas, birthday, of course, I buy her toys as well, so it's not just.
Yeah.
I started buying, and I'm not planning to sell. This is so her portfolio is it's growing just because the price is growing, has been growing since 2015. And this is like a 20-year investment. And I cannot think of anything else I can buy that I can be sure in 20 years, even not in a lifetime, that I'll be able to get her access to. I don't know which stock to buy on her behalf. I don't know what else really, and currency is completely out of the questions.
Yeah.
Any paper.
I had a similar idea. I mean, I don't have any children at the moment, but when I bought my first gold sovereign just before Christmas from the Royal Mint, and I thought, what a nice thing to do if you have children, is to maybe every year just buy something like a gold sovereign and just put it away, and then when they're 20 or something, you can give it to them, and hopefully they don't just turn it into cash and go and waste it. You sort of have to educate them to do something wise with it. But I think that's a really great thing to do, to put some wealth away for your children by something like that.
Mark, can I just tell you something? See, when you have 3 kids, you don't have any wealth to put anything away.
That's really a good
point. Believe me. We'll have this conversation in 10 years.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kenny.
Yeah.
But I wonder though, sort of perhaps gold versus silver. From what I understand, Stephen, is that the silver tends to be a bit more volatile. It has more sort of severe price swings. What's your opinion on holding gold versus silver?
Well, you're exactly right. Silver is much more volatile than gold. You can see that in the past week, even over longer periods of time, you'll be absolutely convinced if you do research. So I would say we try to trade a gold-silver ratio. So at the moment we're under 70 already, and when we started Europa Bullion, when we did the first major order. It was above 100. We couldn't quite catch the 125, which was unprecedented. The natural ratio and the monetary ratios are 10-1 and 15-1 respectively. But silver has been demonetized long time before gold. And gold is still an asset which central banks hold. So I wouldn't wait for the ratio to get to 15-1 before I start heavily investing in gold, if I were an investor in gold, which I am. And I would say that anything below 30-1, I will start buying only gold. And when it's between 30 and 50-1, I would buy both. And then the moment I would buy only silver, just because it's undervalued compared to gold.
Right, compared to gold. Okay, okay.
And one more thing. I'm doing a small research, and I'm asking people, what is more expensive, gold or platinum? And everybody tells me platinum. This is just random people. The price of platinum, as we speak, is not half, but 40% lower than the price of gold. And there's a great story there. So I would urge your listeners and you to have a second look at platinum at the moment, at the price it is now. Of course, we only invest in things you understand. So you do your homework.
Yeah,
there's a good story there. So maybe when somebody's asking gold or silver, maybe the answer at the moment, because of the higher premiums in silver, maybe the right answer is platinum. Something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. There was one thing that jumped into my mind there, Stephen, that silver has, massive advantage over, is that nobody that I'm aware of in the world recycles silver at the moment. I think there's a stat out there that says that 95% of all silver mined for industrial uses ends up in landfill. So it just gets thrown away.
95%, but it's a very high percent.
Yeah. So I guess that the higher the spot price goes over the next several years, then the recycling of silver becomes more attractive, or more economic, shall we say? So I wonder if we'll see businesses popping up. I'm sure there is already, but I just can't see how it's economic to recycle silver at the moment. But
at the moment, it's not. At the moment, it's not for sure. And if the price is, let's say, $100, then we'll have to do the calculation. If we say that it's 0.3 grams of silver in one cell phone, so if it's 100, 0.3 is it's $1 worth of silver when silver is 100. So it will not be economical for some time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's one advantage we've got at the moment. But just before we end, Stephen, so how did you become a silver or a precious metals bullion dealer? It's not the kind of thing you just sort of grow up as a child and say, I'm going to be a precious metals bullion dealer.
There's an interesting story there. I have a master's degree in law, and I run a mid-sized to a large law and accounting firm for 10 years. Now, at that time, I was buying precious metals for my daughter and later for my son. So I ended up selling my business in 2019, and I have a non-disclosure agreement there, and part of my agreement is not to be in a competing business. So that business was run from Bulgaria, which at the time had the lowest corporate tax rate in the EU of 10%.
Mm-hmm.
People were moving a lot of business just for tax purposes. There was no building of new factories or something like that. It was just taking advantage of the better taxation policies of the country. And since I sold the business, I couldn't do what I did best, and I couldn't compete in that same business. This is part of my agreement. So my love for precious metals, which had started in 2020, 2013, something like that. I told you that I started buying for my daughter in 2014. I made some money, good money with the previous business. So, I could have just sat at home for, 5-6 years and enjoyed myself, but that's not the kind of person I am. So then I saw silver going to $12, and I told myself, this is ridiculous. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense, when that was in March, so I couldn't buy at the bottom, but we started to discuss, me with some friends and now colleagues, how we can take advantage of this situation. So we started selling silver grain on behalf of a very large Bulgarian producer. And then it slowly grew, and we decided to focus on the retail market and not the wholesale so much, because it gives you better opportunity for profit, and we don't have unlimited capital, which you need for the wholesale. So we slowly build it up, and then we decided to move to Estonia to take advantage of the 0% VAT rate on silver products with face value. So pretty much that's the story, and it's been operating since, as a retail, since June, I would say, in 2020. And the client base is growing. We're offering good service. I think we have 4.9 out of 5 Trust Score at Trustpilot with all verified comments. So we're trying to establish personal touch when we communicate with clients and service, and send them pictures of orders before they go for shipping, and that's it pretty much.
Yeah,
that's how it all started.
Yeah, sometimes these things just happen. You don't choose a path. That just you just follow it. It shows you the way, and you just follow it. So yeah, but no, it's just a bugger that Brexit has buggered it up for us as Brits, and we can't really get the silver VAT free anymore, which is frustrating. But I'm sure there's smart people out there, and we'll think of a way around it in time. But yeah, I don't think you've actually gave your website a mention. Have you give your website address a mention, just for the listeners, in case they want to have a look, in case we've got listeners in Europe who obviously can take advantage of the VAT-free situation that you offer?
Yeah, the website is europabullion.com.
Nice and easy to remember. Perfect.
Yeah, and just one thing for the UK listeners. they can order silver from our website to be delivered to anywhere in the EU. And there's a nice workaround where you buy silver from Northern Ireland. Now, after Brexit, the rules for distance selling to Northern Ireland remain the same. So we can ship silver tax-free to Northern Ireland, and it doesn't have to be to a physical address. We can ship to UPS access point, where it can be received, and then it can be resent to Great Britain. That's Scotland, Wales, or England. So there is a workaround. Obviously, it makes sense for larger orders. But if somebody wants to find a way to do it legally, that's the way. You ship to Northern Ireland and then you reship to Great Britain, and it will only work until the end of June. There's a legislative change again coming, new one. Yeah, which will prevent that. But now you can get it tax-free to Northern Ireland at the moment. So if you go to our website, you can select Northern Ireland, you put your address, you pay, and I guarantee you the HMRC is not going to bother with you, because this is the distance selling, and the rules remain the same for the time being.
All right, Mark, there you go. So you're in Holland at the moment, Mark, so you're okay. It says
okay.
poor buggers are stuck in the UK that can't get around it. But
yeah.
No, it's an interesting way of getting the silver in. I've got my target of 1,000 ounces. I'm sitting at 750 at the moment, so I've got another 250 ounces to go. Hopefully in Q1, Q2, and then that's me done. So yeah, I might investigate that, Stephen, because I would just like to get the 250 ounces, and that's me got my 1,000 ounce target. But I'll probably won't stop at 1,000. I'm saying that I'll probably keep going, because I'm an addictive personality, so I just like to hoard things like that. But there we go. Well, appreciate your time, Stephen. It's been a bit of an insight into what's happened in the last 10, 12 days with this silver squeeze, and long may the buying continue, and we can just watch from the sidelines and see what happens with this disconnect between spot price and physical delivery of silver.
Yep, it was my pleasure.
No, that's fantastic, Stephen. I have one just final question, just out of curiosity. What you have on your website, and you mentioned you were going to get your own bar minted, a coin bar. So what's a coin bar then, as opposed to, I don't know, a bar?
It's a bar, really. But on the back side of the bar, you can see Her Majesty.
Okay.
The name of an island you've never heard before, and face value, some number, and then dollars, which you pay for, of course, to that government. And the reason it needs to be a coin bar, it's because you can sell it VAT free, because it is a legal tender. So
okay, so because it has a face value on and Her Majesty, it's classed as legal tender, so it's VAT free.
Exactly. And you cannot buy anything with it.
No, yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, well, I look forward. I'll keep an eye on your website for your bar. That's going to be interesting. So let's. I'm interested to see what that looks like, because I do like those Stone X bars that you have, which is.
It will look much better. I mean, it will look much better.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Mid-March. I hope mid-March. It's in production already. So
okay.
But it is a minted bar as opposed to casted. So the minted bar is much higher quality.
Yes.
Than the cast, and you will see it. Yeah, I cannot tell you pretty much anything more than that, but it will be better than the Stone X bar.
Oh.
Yeah. Better design, and you'll see it.
Perfect. I look forward to that.
Better packaging, because I don't like their packaging. I mean, it's just awful. When you open the box and it breaks. Yeah. So we're going in the direction that Stone X is going. So we are going to create some competition for it.
Nice. Oh well. Yeah. Good, excellent, good for you. Well, fantastic. It's been a real pleasure talking to you, Stephen. It's nice to get some insight there from a bullion dealer himself. So thank you very much for your time. And I hope you continue to go from strength to strength.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem.
It was a pleasure.
Okay. Thanks, Stephen.
Thank you for listening to another podcast from Market Musings with Ben and Russell. Tune in next time.